And it's also one last chance for the fans to see their heroes in this, the final match of the Fan Tribute Tour in 2012 for the U.S. Women's National Team. And this international friendly between the United States and China is brought to you by Panasonic ToughPad. And welcome to the campus of Florida Atlantic University at FAU Stadium. I'm Russ Thaler, everybody, joined by Kate Markgraf, World Cup champion, two-time Olympic champion. As we look at the last 12 months, how would you describe the last year for this team?
Well, it's mission accomplished. First of all, you have a team that suffered a devastating loss in the World Cup in penalty kicks, and then they won the Olympics in exciting fashion. Individually, the emergence of some talents, Megan Rapinoe, but a star is born. Alex Morgan, 28 goals, 20 assists. She is the face of the future for this team.
And we'll certainly spend a good portion of tonight looking back at 2012, but also looking forward to a new year and a new regime for the U.S. Women's National Team, led by the new head coach, Tom Sermanni, in 2013. Tom, congratulations on getting the job.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Tom, your predecessor, Pia Sundhage, famously sang to the group in her very first meeting with the team. How are you going to top that?
Impossible to top. There'll be no singing or dancing, I'm afraid.
What's your message going to be to the team?
Well, basically, it's about, the team continuing to be successful as they have been over the last few years. About, I suppose, putting my own style of management and coaching style on the team, increasing competition within the squad, and trying my best to take the team even further.
Now, winning can cover up a lot of deficiencies. What's one area of weakness that you're going to address right when you come in?
Well, it's really difficult to say until you get down to working with the players. Obviously, I think if you look through the record, perhaps the team concedes more goals than that they might want to concede for the team at the top, but that's because it's a very attack-minded team. So, really until I get down to working with the players, it's difficult to know.
This team won Olympic gold, obviously, but they were also the oldest team in the Olympic tournament. How do you plan on infusing some new blood into this group?
Well, again, it's just about, there's players on the fringes. I've been alerted to several players who have been in and around the squad, and it's about bringing them in to work with this great group of players that are here and see how they match up.
Now, what will be the most difficult part of your job that you're not looking forward to?
The most difficult? Probably getting players to understand my Scottish accent. That's probably the most difficult one.
We're struggling right here.
And then I suppose it's getting a handle on the players who are outside the squad. I've got a fairly good knowledge of the players who have been around this squad for some time, but it's getting a handle on ones who are perhaps just on the fringes.
11 years prior with the Australian national team through 2 stints. Your first game, February 9th, Jacksonville, Florida, against your native Scotland. Coincidence?
It's ironic, isn't it? I mean, to be honest, if I could, there'd be 2 great ways to start the job, either a game against Scotland or a game against Australia. So for me, this is a terrific way to start.
Now, when you go into that camp, which will probably happen a week, 10 days before that game, are you going to bring in the same squad? Will you bring some new blood in? What are you thinking?
Well, at the moment, I'll certainly bring the same squad in because, these players have done terrifically well, and it would be very rash of me to make sort of decisions without having a look at players. But within that, hopefully I'll bring in a bigger group of players and look at some other players who are outside the squad at the moment.
Tom, you said you want to take this team further. How do you do better than winning everything you play in, which this team seems to do, or at least that's the expectation?
Well, I think it's like any team. You have to keep with the women's football, women's soccer is improving at a rapid rate. So you want to stay at the top and keep the opposition at bay. You've got to continue to improve. So, whatever, and I don't know exactly what the methodology is of that at the moment, but obviously you want to continue whatever team you've got to make them better.
Tom Sermanni will be the head coach in full of this team in 2013. When we come back, we'll give you the starting lineups for the final match of 2012 between USA and China from Boca Raton. Welcome back to Boca Raton, Florida. The final match of the Fan Tribute Tour, U.S. against China here at Florida Atlantic University. And for this, the final matchup of 2012, it's time to take a look at the final lineups for 2012, beginning with Team USA and Jill Ellis in her final match as the interim head coach for the squad.
Well, there's no change in the formation for the United States. They're sticking to their traditional 4-4-2. Watch for Kelly O'Hara, number 5. She didn't play in the last game. She likes to get forward. And if she gets forward, it's going to be key for number 7, Shannon Box, the defensive center mid, to hold her ground, to make sure she prevents any dangerous counterattacks. And then up top, the dynamic duo of Abby Wambach and Alex Morgan, the combination of pace and power has been too much for every single defense in the world to handle.
Now let's take a look at how Hao Wei will counter for China.
Well, first of all, it's going to come down to defending and also the goalkeeper, number 12, Wang Fei. She needs to command her box. She is the number 1. She needs to play like it, be authoritative, and come out and win every single cross. Number 11, Pu Wei, played in the 1999 Women's World Cup, used to be attacker, now defensive center mid, will break up the United States attack, but watch for her short and long ball. And long balls, she's going to number 27, Li Ying. Good pace, good power on the ball, and she's going to hold it up and try to bring the rest of her players into the play.
Third straight matchup to finish the year against China. A 4-0 win this past Wednesday in Houston. What would Team USA like to do better than they did in that game?
Well, I think they just have to be really, really patient. I think the thing with the United States is it takes them too long to figure out they need to use the width. So right from the get-go, have controlled build-up, get it wide. And when they get shut down, then switch it quickly, using your center players, the spine of your team, the Rampol, the Boxes, the Lloyds. And then that's how they can break down this organized Chinese team.
Well, the players from both squads are making their way from the locker room to the field. And now it's time for us to send you way up top to the man who's going to call the action tonight, Steve Cangelosi.
Russ, Kate, thank you. Tomorrow morning, 18 U.S. players go their separate ways, boarding different airplanes to various destinations across the country. And most will not see each other again until the next training camp, maybe the first week of February or January late. But the ties that bind will likely never be broken. The Olympic medal, meaning they are the standard bearers of excellence in their sport. Tonight, one last game before they brace for a new head coach and the challenges that await in 2013. For the final time this year, the U.S. women's national team and the People's Republic of China.
And now, here are today's starting lineups. First,
coming up, the national anthems and the first kick of the United States versus China on the NBC Sports Network. The final game of the Fan Tribute Tour at Boca Raton, a celebration of a year that saw the U.S. women's national team win a 4th Olympic gold medal. No other team, men's or women's, has won more than 3. The final game of the calendar year 2012. A United States team that reeled off 27 victories, shutting out the opposition 16 times. The only defeat coming way back on the 5th of March against Japan. There were 3 draws mixed in, and of course so many memories that we'll touch on tonight, including 6 consecutive wins in London en route to the Olympic gold medal. Here are tonight's national anthems. First, the People's Republic of China. Sometimes words cannot express what families in Connecticut are enduring, what much of the country is feeling tonight in light of the tragic events yesterday in Newtown. You saw the faces of some of the U.S. players a moment ago. The wristband ACE HES, Sandy Hook Elementary School, their tribute tonight. The final game for the U.S. women versus China this year is next. back to today's international friendly between the United States and China, presented by Panasonic ToughPad. I'm Steve Cangelosi. Kate Markgraf is between the benches tonight. Let's go downstairs. Who's our player to watch, Kate?
Well, the player to watch is number 9, Heather O'Reilly. Only 27 years of age, but has been on this team, a seasoned veteran. She's an energetic shuttler. She'll need to get up and down the plate, providing both offense, but serves as a shield in front of her outside back, Amy Lepelbet.
And coming off a 3-assist game just a few nights ago at BBVA Compass Stadium in Houston, the United States that night defeating China by the score of 4-0, and this is the match that wraps up 2012 for the reigning Olympic gold medalists. Taken away quickly by the U.S. and Carly Lloyd with a quick shot that sails over the crossbar. The Chinese goalkeeper tonight is Wang Fei. Lloyd and Shannon Box operate in the central part of the midfield. Wang Fei, 22 years old. She started Wednesday, allowing 4. Did not play in the opening game of this trilogy against the United States last Saturday. Hope Solo plays this into the China area. Heather O'Reilly with her first touch off the feed from Alex Morgan. The New Jersey native attempted cross is blocked away. Amy Lepelbet back in the starting lineup, this time switching to right back. She played on the left side out of necessity just a few nights ago with Kelly O'Hara nursing injury. Lepelbet battling on the near side, but stripped away. 19-year-old striker Li Ying for China making the play. Oh, the United States, all of this gearing up towards 2015 and the World Cup. Kate Markgraf, we're looking at a United States team where every player that we're seeing tonight wants to be part of that. No one has a planned exit on this U.S. team.
No one has announced their retirement, and this was the oldest team in the Olympics, 28 years of age, compared to this young Chinese team who average age is 22. So that's something that's going to fall under Tom Sermanni's reign, is he's going to have to figure out how to integrate young players, find players in their prime, but also mesh them with seasoned veterans.
China winless in 19 consecutive matches against the United States. Shannon Box trying to link up with Abby Wambach, but that's taken away by China. Chinese team that in its first 2 games on U.S. soil in this series has been unable to earn a result, or for that matter score a goal, as Hope Solo hears it from the crowd at Florida Atlantic University. An incredible year for the U.S. #1. 25 victories, breaking the record that she herself set back in 2008. On the ball for China, Pu Wei, their longtime captain. Deflected away, and China will have the throw-in. The 22-year-old left back, Li Jiayue, with the throw-in. Played ahead by Rachel Bueller. Lloyd in the midfield, one of the heroes in London, tries to play it ahead, but cleared away by China. O'Hara back in the U.S. starting lineup, flicked ahead by Alex Morgan. And Alex Morgan named the 2012 U.S. Soccer Female Athlete of the Year. 28 goals heading in to this finale of the season. Pu Wei control for China in the midfield. Now stripped away, but it went over the touchline as Megan Rapinoe tried to take control. O'Hara, the 24-year-old defender out of Fayetteville, Georgia. That is the Chinese coach, Hao Wei, succeeding Li Chaopeng after his predecessor failed to guide China to the 2012 Olympic Games. So much has changed for the China program, Kate, since the 1999 World Cup final.
Well, they've had numerous coaches. In fact, Tom Sermanni told us yesterday, while he was in Australia, they had 8 different coaches. And along with this new head coach, he's brought in a lot of young players, players he believes in, and he's trying to mold this team for the future competition in the next World Cup.
Jill Ellis, interim coach for the United States. Director of Development for the U.S. Women's National Team. This is her final coaching assignment. As you mentioned during the pregame with Russ Thaler, Tom Sermanni takes over January 1st, and Abby Wambach hits the deck early in the match in this 5th minute.
One thing that has been consistent over the past 2 games is the Americans' surprise how physical the Chinese have been. They call them being a little bit chippy. And the Chinese want to come up with a little bit more stamp on the game, win more head balls, and you get to see a Chinese player coming in aggressively up over the top of Wambach.
Team that does not lack for ambition, China. It is a young team, though. We spoke with the captain, Pu Wei, yesterday. 16 players on the China team are under the age of 25, and talk about a work in progress to get back to one of the top rankings in the world. Right now, FIFA ranks China the 18th ranked team on the globe. Pu Wei is 32, unsure if she will be part of the 2015 World Cup, even if China did qualify. Headed back by the United States and quickly cleared away by Lepelbeck. Heather O'Reilly takes for the United States. Christy Rampone over the top. Alex Morgan runs onto this. The U.S. leading scorer gets it across Megan Rapinoe and cleared away. First dangerous opportunity of the match for the United States.
Well, you're still within the 10-minute mark, and it's the trademark of the United States team to play more direct. And the reason is because they want to put the other teams into pressure in their own end by sending long balls and making them clear it, make them set play closer to their own goal. This game will settle down, the pace and the tempo will slow down around the 10-minute mark.
Some of the players leveled with us too, Kate. This is a team that's not 100% fit. This is a long grind and more games than the United States has played, particularly at this time of year, than they ever have.
Well, absolutely. Hope Solo told us that this is the most exhausted she had ever been. They have been going for 2 straight years, and they all are looking forward to a nice extended break through December and through the beginning of January.
Played into the U.S. area and back to give chase. Hope Solo, the long storied history between these two teams. We mentioned the '99 Cup final, won by penalty kicks in the United States. This was rather competitive the first 29 meetings, the last 19, 16 0-3 in favor of the United States. Let's go back to the Four Nations Cup in 2003 to find the last time China produced a victory in this series. Good play, Heather O'Reilly, and the first corner of the match to be awarded to the U.S.
Well, Heather O'Reilly is trademark, going end line, trying to get crosses in. And if she doesn't get a cross in, she usually earns a corner kick because she puts the defender in such a horrible position. They have to lunge for the ball, and it knocks it out of bounds over the goal line.
It will be Rapinoe from the near side for the U.S. One of the heroes in London drills it in. One-time try, off the mark, Shannon Box. High level of difficulty this year. Shannon Box, it'll come back the other way.
Well, Megan Rapinoe hits a driven ball. She has numerous targets to go for, but she's aiming for Carly Lloyd. Shannon Box holds her run on the wide post. The ball is bouncing up to her, and she doesn't time it right, doesn't get the right contact. She takes her eye off the ball at the last second, and it wastes a chance.
What is the challenge for a player like Shannon Box as we approach 2015? A 3-time World Cup veteran. She is 35 now, and again, no designs on leaving this team. How difficult a task will that be? Not only for her, there are several players in that situation.
Well, anytime you get over the age of 30, you have a stigma that you're getting old and you can't do it anymore. But numerous players are pushing that envelope and being competitive up until 35 and 36. Now, it's going to be tough for a lot of those players that are currently at that age to continue to make an impact on this roster. Tom Sermanni really has to believe that he can maintain their high level, or believe that they haven't reached their potential yet and he can develop it, because the World Cup is until 3 years from now. Qualifying
doesn't begin until another 18 months. Hong Peng near side for China. And the foul called as Shannon Box is tripped up. U.S. will have this on a free kick. Foul against Ren Gui Shin. Rapinoe 2 goals in the memorable semifinal win at the London Olympic Games against Canada. Taken away by Li Ying, the 19-year-old for China, and played back. Wang Doni clears this away. United States will have this on a throw-in. Traditionally, the United States women's team is done with competition by Thanksgiving Day. This is the 5th match they have played since the 28th of November, and several players are just confiding with us. They're just looking forward to getting on the plane, just giving the body a rest. Much of this is a celebration with the fans of all they've accomplished in the past year. A rare venture into the attacking third for China, and the pass for Li is broken up. Abby Wambach up top and cleared away by Wang Doni. Rapinoe quickly played ahead. Alex Morgan on the attack for the United States. Morgan able to cut this back. Her shot sails way wide of goal, but a good thrust by the U.S. in this game's 11th minute.
Well, the beauty of Alex Morgan is her speed puts her in a position to make something out of anything. She goes down the end line, does her famous cutback. She will shoot from any angle because she has such a powerful shot, good technique on the ball, and a lot of her shots that have been going wide, someone have been following up. But those are the shots that stay low, and not like that one that sails over the top.
Alex Morgan, the second player in U.S. history to have at least 20 goals, 20 assists in 1 year. That is rarefied air. Mia Hamm, the only other U.S. women's national team player to accomplish that feat. Rapinoe on the attack, but that's cleared away by Wang Doni. "28 goals for the leader for the United States this year. Rapinoe with the flick ahead. Morgan challenging for this. Plays it out wide for Rapinoe, but taken away. Rapinoe still battling along the goal line, and flag goes up. And the corner kick is awarded for the United States. Good work by the U.S. midfielder. Rapinoe will take this from the opposite side.
Well, Rapinoe just doesn't let this ball down. She's following Wang Doni repeatedly and touches the ball. Offer to earn a corner kick.
Megan Rapinoe drills this in. Gets all the way to box. Lost her footing and taken away. Christy Rampone stepping up to defend for the United States. And the foul called against the United States. Pride of Point Pleasant, New Jersey, in her 276th cap tonight, Christy Rampone, passing Mia Hamm for second on the all-time U.S. women's list. Pu Wei for China. Taken on the far side, Wang Chen, the 23-year-old striker. Looks to play it ahead. There's Rapinoe back to defend and taken away. Long ball for Morgan. Carly Lloyd to Shannon Box. Amy Lepelbet. Played back all the way to Christy Rampone, the captain at the age of 37 for Rachel Bueller. International friendly with 6 substitutes allowed for each side. We're likely to see all 6, at least for the United States tonight. Quick throw in for the U.S. Morgan in traffic. Double teamed and taken away by China. Wu Haiye, the right back for China. Wang Chen floats it ahead. Miscommunication with Li Ying, and all the way to Hope Solo in goal.
But Steve, already it's a different game. China's coming after the United States, differing than their Wednesday game when they sat back a little bit. What's letting them down is that final pass. In that final third, they're either giving it away to the United States or dumping it in straight to Hope Solo.
Wednesday could have had a deflating effect on them, Kate. Not only were they outscored 4-0, but outshot 21-3. In all of the matchups against the United States through the years, the disparity had never been that great until Wednesday night.
But the Chinese are looking at this as a training ground. They know they have young players. They know this is a time to test some new players, see how they handle the pressure, but also to see how they fare against the #1 team in the world. So as much as that was a defeating loss, they have a really good perspective about it, and they were looking forward to going out of this little 3-game series that they're having in the United States with a bang and trying to compete with them.
O'Reilly making a run down the right flank, but taken away by China. Huang Yini, the 19-year-old defender, one of the many youngsters on the Chinese squad, plays it across. And backtracking for the United States, Christy Rampone. Bueller to Rampone. Lapel bet near side. Oh, nearly broken up by Rengui Shin, but taken back by the U.S. Throwing coming up here for China in the game's 16th minute. Carly Lloyd, gold medal winning goals in 2008 and then again in 2012. Both U.S. goals in the final versus Japan. Lee stepping up for China. Now Ling plays this back. But it comes to Morgan instead. Picks up Rapinoe. Her pass. Wambach will get on this. Just ran out of room. Thought Wambach had a handle on it. It's come back for a goal kick for China. We mentioned the 2020 club. And exactly what Alex Morgan has done this year. 28 goals, 20 assists. She's done so in 30 matches. Mia Hamm did so in 5 fewer. Back in 1998. Last ball was deflected. This will go for a corner kick. And Rapinoe will take it. Didn't think the ball was deflected. We'll watch the U.S. in this position for the 3rd time tonight. Rapinoe floats it wide and defended away. Kelly O'Hara, the throw-in for the U.S.
Well, very much like what they want to do in their style of play in the build-up is get it wide. They're attempting that on corner kicks. Everything is served far post, away from the zonal defending the Chinese are doing.
Little flick, one back, 1-0 new, 1-0 United States. And Abby Wambach has opened the scoring and moves closer to the all-time U.S. mark of goals in a career held by Mia Hamm.
Well, it's off a throw-in, and it's the ball bouncing in the box, making it unpredictable. The Chinese player watching the ball, not the player. Abby Wambach does a good job getting in behind the Chinese player and finding the ball. This is what she's so good at. She has one intention, that's always to find the ball, regardless of where the defender is, even if she has to go through him, and places it. Doesn't need a ton of power. She's close enough to the goal where she can actually put it in the side of the net without the goalkeeper having a chance.
151st career goal. She has 3 since Wednesday night. And Wambach now just 7 shy of Mia Hamm's all-time record.
In the 18th minute.
Well, we're watching tonight the dynamic duo for the United States. And if Wambach and Alex Morgan combine for 2 goals tonight, they'd equal the best total any duo the U.S. has ever produced. This comes to lapel bet. Michelle Akers and Karen Jennings combined for 55 goals back in 1991, albeit with Akers doing most of that with 39. Knocking on the door tonight, Wambach and Alex Morgan. And this is Abby Wambach again, lays this off. Bueller out of the back. Lapel bet stepping up. Takes it away for the U.S. Heather O'Reilly and deflected away. Here's Morgan. O'Hara, who played every minute of the tournament in London, on the march for the United States, and knocked away by Wang Dongyi. Rapinoe. Too far for the onrushing O'Reilly. 20 minutes in, United States leads 1-0, courtesy of Abby Wambach.
Well, it's off a set piece, something the Chinese defense has been very weak to. And the reason why is they're just watching the ball. They don't get an arm on the player. The United States coaches always teach players to get an arm on. And if you're Abby, she's always following the ball, does not care where the defender is, proactive in every single one of her movements.
Quick look at Tom Sermanni, named the 7th head coach in the United States women's national team. History looking on from his perch up top. He moves to the sidelines for the next game the United States plays on February 9th against his native Scotland. Laid off here for Morgan. Tries to feed Carly Lloyd. Spreads it out wide instead. Rapinoe. And her cross into the arms of Wang Fei. Good build-up for the United States. Coach Sermanni did reveal to both you and Russ Thaler in the pregame show, Kate, the players we're seeing now, they're going to make up the nucleus of that group that comes together in February. Maybe a couple of fresh faces added to them, but these players, by and large, will make up the team.
Well, that makes sense. This is the group that has been successful. This is the group that has played together. In a way, they've been a traveling club team, as he put it in his words, because of residency. But he's also going to bring in some of the college players that had impressive seasons and the under-23s. That's been kind of the developmental program for those players who've just graduated college. So it will be a sizable camp, and that'll be the beginning of him filtering through all the players in America. It's just starting.
He's actually already coached 2 of the players that we're seeing tonight. Foul called against China, free kick United States. The WUSA's New York Power back in '03. That team included Christy Rampone and Shannon Bach. So there's some familiarity, but by and large, Jill Ellis on the sideline tonight will be his eyes and ears for this transition period. Rampone, free kick. O'Reilly. Loose ball to the foot of Megan Rapinoe. Good turn on the ball, but taken away by China, and Li Ying is on it. Ren Guixin lost her footing, and all the way back for Hope Solo in goal. Mueller for the United States, trying to remain undefeated on this fan tribute tour. The 10th game of 10 to finish up the calendar year. Strong takeaway by Zhang Rui. Wu Wei, the Chinese captain, plays this out wide. Wu for Wang Chen. Flag goes up on China. United States will have it.
It will be very difficult for Shannon Bach and Carly Lloyd to create in that midfield because their numbers down. And that's why all you're seeing is the defenders having service to the forwards, Alex Morgan, Abby Wambach.
Wambach trying to split 2 defenders, still on the move. Swept away. The ball goes over the touchline, and this will be a throw-in coming up for the United States.
Well, back to my point, that's the reason why everything you're seeing, all their chances are coming from that long service to Wambach and Morgan running off of it.
This is Alex Morgan. Those are 2 of the 3 finalists for the Ballon d'Or. Headed softly, and this time Wang Fei makes the diving stop, and she denies Abby Wambach, number 2. Rapinoe on the ensuing corner. Better than midway through the first half. United States trying to double the lead, and it's finale of 2012. This is Rapinoe. Swings this in, and China will again concede the corner from the opposite side.
Well, the ball comes in from across. We talked about Wang Fei being strong coming out, but if she stays on her line, she has to make a big-time save like that. She does a good job extending and pushing it wide of the goal, allowing her time to reset and defend for a corner.
This is Rapinoe once again in the game's 25th minute. 5th corner of the match already for the United States. Plays this low, and will do it one more time. Played short, O'Reilly. Punched away by Fei. One-time shot, Shannon Box waiting on it. Comes away, Rapinoe. Still loose in the 18 and cleared away. It's chaotic in the Chinese area, and now Wang Fei can catch her breath. Foul against the United States.
Well, they try something different, a short corner to draw the Chinese players out. Wang Fei comes out decisively, has a great reaction save. Again, everything is away from her own net. Here's another example. Look at her extend, punch that ball away and wide of danger, and then a quick reaction save.
Kate, we saw a player like Brian McBride on the U.S. men's national team extend his career, remain a top striker for his country because of his great ability in the air. Abby Wambach is 32. Obviously, her greatest asset for the United States, which we saw on display right there. And it's something that might keep her a #1 striker for this team for years to come, even with the emergence of a player like Sydney Leroux, isn't it?
Well, there's two of the reasons why Abby Wambach will be one of the most difficult players to ever replace if you need to replace her before she wants to retire. That'll be her ability in the air. There's no one else better than her in the United States than her. And secondly, because she's a match winner. She is a game changer. She will go into mentality, and she will carry this team single-handedly, like the Brazil goal in overtime in the World Cup to propel them into the semis. She's a match winner, and special players are hard to come by.
There is Jill Ellis turning the reins over to Tom Sermanni, January 1st, former assistant to Pia Sundhage. Is still a big part of where this team goes in the future. The flex up top, Alex Morgan for the United States. Rapinoe out wide. U.S. trying to double a lead. That's defended well by Wu Haiyan. Han Peng, the 22-year-old midfielder for China. Li Ying sees it stripped away by Carly Lloyd. Here's Lepelbeck. The United States continuing to work on a pretty remarkable shutout streak. 365 minutes at the start of play tonight. Hope Solo playing most of that stretch. She's been involved personally with 11 shutouts this year. 90-minute games, clean sheets credited to her, and she has shared 4 others this season with the likes of her backup tonight, Nicole Barnhart. Tough task for a Chinese side playing the #1 team in the world. And for Tom Sermanni, Kate, maybe that's one of the big adjustments as he makes his way stateside. Longtime coach of Australia. Now the target is on his back every tournament that his team plays.
Well, coaching for other teams, he's always been trying to improve them, working with a smaller player pool, always trying to ascend. And now this is a team that's trying to stay on top, stay at the top of the podium. He can do it.
Rapinoe floats this across. Wambach in the danger area. Played here. Lepelbeck across and headed away. Trying to turn with it, Heather O'Reilly. Quick throw in the United States. Take away by Li Ying. Han Peng in the midfield. Sees it knocked away. Wang Yini, the 19-year-old, for the captain Pu Wei. China has not scored more than 1 goal in any of those last 19 matches against the U.S. women's team. 3 draws, 16 defeats in that time.
Well, part of that is after China's lost in the 99 Women's World Cup, the country was so decimated, they cut down the funding. So for a couple of years, all the way through 2004, they weren't supporting the program. And money means investment, means performance, means results. That's why the United States has been so good for so long with U.S. soccer's investment. And now, they haven't been good for so long. Many parents don't want their young children becoming soccer players. They want them to go get normal jobs or stay in school or not sport-specific schools. That's part of the reason why China has lost their international dominance.
On the move for the U.S., Alex Morgan providing pressure. Lee takes this. Lee Jiayue plays this out. United States will have this. We're better than a third of the way through. The U.S. women's national team looking for its 28th victory of the year in 32 tries. Rampone out of the back. Wambach sprays it wide. Rapinoe picks this up for the U.S. on the left flank. Drops it back. O'Hara. And Rapinoe is knocked down. Free kick for the United States.
That's just foolish on China. They are not dominant in the box. They're not clearing the ball. Why would you continually give up set piece after set piece by having stupid fouls? They go in, she doesn't keep her feet, so she decides to foul early. That's just hasty and reckless. If the forward, like Rapinoe, has the ball at her feet in control, you do not dive in like that.
It's been Rapinoe almost exclusively on set pieces tonight, and here we go again. Plays it across. Off the crossbar as Wang Fei went up for it. Still alive. At the top of the 6-yard box, cleared away by Huang Yini. United States knocking on the door, trying to double the lead.
Well, Megan Rapinoe can put such texture on this ball. She's putting it in that corridor of indecision, whether the goalkeeper can come out or not. The goalkeeper decides to stay in her line, and right now, Abby Wambach is dominating every single Chinese player in the air.
Morgan able to drop this off for Rapinoe. Foul called, they play advantage. Alex Morgan back to her feet, and now another hard challenge on the far side on Kelly O'Hara. And the warning from the referee tonight, Cristina Ibanez from the United States, and our first yellow card to number 25, Chong Ray.
Megan Rapinoe plays it wide, a 2-footed tackle going in straight to O'Hare, getting the player. And I don't even think she got the ball from that angle. The referee setting the tone, putting an early yellow card up. There's been too many fouls that China's been committing. She's trying to stop that.
Rapinoe once again for the United States. Drilled in, headed away, Li Ying. This time it's Rapinoe who is called for the foul. China will have it. One 1-0 United States on the goal by Abby Wambach, her 26th of the season for the U.S. Wambach and her strike tender partner, Alex Morgan, both nominated for the Ballon d'Or as FIFA World Player of the Year. And look at the impact Abby has had when this team gets a Wambach goal in the first half. Undefeated in 61 tries, 58 wins, and 3 draws. Wambach told us yesterday she would be shocked if Alex Morgan does not win the Ballon d'Or, and she said if she does, it would be one of the most gratifying moments of her career. Did that surprise you, Kate?
Well, that's really nice. I think I'd want to win an award if I'm up for it. But Alex Morgan is Alex Morgan because of what Abby Wambach creates, and also Abby Wambach draws so much attention in the beginning of this year that it set Alex Morgan free a lot. But now everyone knows who Alex Morgan is, and sometimes that now makes Abby Wambach free. Together is the reason why both of them are putting up such incredible numbers.
We're talking about the U.S. Soccer Female Athlete of the Year in Alex Morgan, and We talked about her getting better, what she has to do to get to an even higher level, and sometimes players give a very generic response to that question. Alex Morgan was very specific with us yesterday. So we see a foul against the United States, and Ren Guixin is the player down. Free kick for China, but Morgan told us she knows what she has to do. She has to improve her first touch, Kate.
Her first touch, she said she wants to get better at that, so she can start to create opportunities for herself that, in my opinion, that are always wide. She always touches it wide or cuts it back. And then secondly, she works on her heading and just her distribution.
Rare free kick for China in the game's 35th minute. The veteran Pu Wei opts to play this out wide. Han Peng, Chinese midfielder, tries to stutter step around two defenders. Rampone is there. So too Lepelbet, and taken away. Morgan near side, slowed up by Huang Yini. That's a foul against China. Well, apparently it went the other way, much to the dismay of the crowd. Now Rapinoe with Wang Fei out, and it's in the back of goal. Megan Rapinoe saw the chance, took it, 2-0 United States.
Well, there are two players on this team that would take that shot, and Megan Rapinoe is one of them. The Chinese defender loses sight of where she is on the field, plays it back to the goalkeeper, who's too far out of the goal. Megan Rapinoe, with the knowledge of where she's on the field, where the goalie is, one-times it, and that's just incredible game awareness. And also technique. Some people would just roof that, but she put enough power to get it high over the goalkeeper, but still low enough to go into the goal.
Taken away by the U.S. again. Carly Lloyd on the attack. Lays it out wide. O'Reilly trying to pick this up, but taken away. As for Wang Fei, the goalkeeper, that's about risk-reward. Kate, is the risk worth the reward more times than not?
No, it's not, but the Chinese know they cannot compete in the air, so they don't like to send these long balls up top. They also only have one forward up top. But that's something that she'll remember for the rest of her life, and I guarantee she will never make a mistake like that again.
This ball comes to Morgan. Punches it outside. Wambach gets the cross away. Picked up. Crossed by O'Reilly. Goes all the way to the opposite side and taken away by China. U.S. Soccer on the NBC Sports Network is brought to you by Panasonic ToughPad Tablet Fearless and by Century 21. Century 21 is the official real estate company of the U.S. national teams. Morgan on the attack again for the United States. Excellent job with control. Now looking to beat two defenders. Alex Morgan down, but no call. And Alex Morgan remains down in the 18-yard box. Teammates right now might not be aware of it. Neither is China as Pu Wei continues on the attack. All eyes in the stadium are on Alex Morgan, but the counterattack anyway continues for China. Han Peng. Able to play this across. Ball came over the goal line, and now back in the China area is perhaps the biggest star in the game, who's slow to her feet.
Tonight's halftime contest.
She's just making a meal out of the Chinese defender. Cuts it back in. This is an absolute penalty kick. Wang Hayi, excuse me, doesn't even attempt for the ball. She first plays the body, plays Alex Morgan, trying to push her out of the way, but she hits her at such a low enough point, gets her legs. She's not even attempting for the ball. That is an absolute penalty kick, and the referee should have called that.
Now Morgan appears no worse for the wear, and giving an earful to the referee, Cristina Ibanez.
You know, Alex Morgan isn't a player that dives. There are some players that you hear about, and it's all the referees speak to one another and they say this player dives, just be on the lookout for it. Alex Morgan is never a name included in that, and sometimes to her detriment she goes into things she shouldn't, and sometimes that can buy you some extra calls and protects you as a player. So when she goes down, usually it's because she got hit pretty hard, and sometimes it's illegal, like in that case.
Abby Wambach was telling us she is now the face of U.S. soccer. That much is clear. You reflect back on all the memories for Alex Morgan in 2012. The game-winning goal in the 123rd minute in the Olympic semifinals, being presented with the gold medal days later. She also shared that the most special moment for her was long before that. The first time she saw her name in the starting 11, it was for CONCACAF Olympic qualifying versus Canada many months before that. And the feeling she had that night when she took the field, she would score 2 goals. Her partner Wambach would also score 2. And the United States won 4-0 as they tore through CONCACAF in the early stages.
He was trying to nurture this incredible talent. She didn't want to just throw her to the wolves, see how she'd do, and see if she could maintain her consistency. Instead, she let her grow into the game, come in as a sub, earn her confidence. And in the CONCACAF games in the beginning, they're not much competition for the United States. There's 13-0 wins, 14-0 wins. And that right there was the training ground and the proving ground for Alex Morgan to prove that she could be a 90-minute starter, a 90-minute player.
United States leading by 2. Wambach, Rapinoe, the goals for the U.S. O'Hara returning to the lineup for the United States. Played back for Buehler. Nearly taken away by China. Wang Chen was lurking, but back the other way comes the United States. Scramble in the midfield is won by the U.S. Morgan for Rapinoe. Megan Rapinoe finds another gear. Able to play this across. Heather O'Reilly there. Now the quick shot and the save made by Wang Fei off the foot of Abby Wambach.
Again, using the flank has been so successful. United States draws out that compact Chinese team. Heather O'Reilly lays it off for Abby Wambach. Abby Wambach gets a good contact on it, but not enough accuracy. Doesn't place it wide of the goal or wide of the goalie.
Under pressure again from Morgan. Rampone back for Hope Solo. Buehler for the United States. Christy Rampone, the only player on this United States team who was part of the 1999 World Cup team in the win versus China in the final. Here's Rapinoe again. U.S. trying to add to the lead. This time the cross is way out of harm's way. Rampone, you recall, Kate, had very little role on that team. She was just finding herself with the United States at the time. And Pu Wei was part of the China team as a teenage midfielder back in the day.
Pu Wei was more of an attacking presence. Christy Rampone hadn't quite broken into the starting lineup. They tried her at center back. They didn't like her there. And then she became an outside back and stayed there until Greg Ryan came in and decided to put her right in the middle during the World Cup.
China looking for a breakthrough. It's yet to score in nearly 2.5 games against the United States in the past week. Pu Wei. Floated out wide by Zhang Rui. Chinese looking to get on the board here, but stepping up to defend is Buehler. Pu Wei for Li Ying. Wang Chen for China. Wu Haiye stepping up at right back. Very deliberate attack for China, and now it's given away. Pu Wei sees it stripped away by Wambach. Trying to feed Alex Morgan, but broken up. On Pong for China. Riley back to Lee. A reminder coming up at halftime. Russ and Kate will break down the first half highlights, and we'll have a special announcement from U.S. Soccer. All of that on the U.S. Soccer halftime report presented by Century 21. Played across and cleared. Lepelbet broke it up. Now Megan Rapinoe. 2 defenders to beat. Stripped away by Pu Wei. Han Peng, number 18 for China. Takes this to the 18. Beautiful cutback, and it's in! For the first time in this trilogy, China is on the board, and Han Peng with the goal for the visiting side. What a shot.
Well, China has been struggling with that final pass, not able to connect, but this is all individual effort. Look at this 1v1. Amy Lepelbet loses her footing, dives in on the cut, and Han Peng puts it in the side net. Hope Solo had no chance by this cut, takes momentum away, and Christy Rampone isn't close enough as that covering defender doesn't take enough of the far post angle away, and she takes an excellent shot in the side netting. Hope Solo had no chance to now get China closer and almost back in this game leading into halftime.
Number 18.
2 minutes of added time, and China continuing the attack. Well, there's a pride factor for the Chinese coming into the game tonight, Kate. They had not scored a goal in the first 2 matches versus the United States. Losing 2-0 in Detroit, 4-0 in Houston, and now a breakthrough. Alex Morgan is the player tripped up near the center of the field with about a minute to play in the opening half. Zhang Rui for Pu Wei. Maybe one last chance for the United States with about 40 seconds to go. Morgan drops this back. Heather O'Reilly for the U.S. has a step on Pong. Wambach for Lloyd. Here's Lepelbet playing it across. Wang Fei handles this for China. Waning seconds of the first half at Boca Raton, Florida, on the campus of Florida Atlantic University. The United States leading China 2-1. Rapinoe. Lloyd. Up top for Alex Morgan. Is there a last try for the U.S. in the half? Ball deflected away. It'll go for a corner. We've played in excess of 2 minutes. And let's say what Cristina Ibanez, the referee, will do. She'll award the corner kick. A final try for Megan Rapinoe in this first half. Morgan backs up in the 6-yard box. Swung in, gets by Shannon Box, and that will do it for the opening 45 minutes.
The score.
Abby Wambach with her 151st career goal. Moving closer to the legendary Hall of Famer Mia Hamm, 7 shy of her all-time world record for the United States national team. 5 of her 25 goals this year were in the Olympics, the second most prolific goal-scoring year she has ever had. But Han Peng with the goal for China to give the visitors hope late in the first half. And we've got a good one tonight from Boca Raton.
The 2012 London Olympic Games.
The final game of the Fan Tribute Tour for the United States women's national team. 7 wins and 2 draws so far. This is the conclusion. Let's go downstairs to Kate Margraf.
Hi, Megan Rapinoe. Walk me through that second goal.
Those are the ones that are in the back of the net or over the scoreboard. Try not to hit it too hard. It had a lot coming off it from the pass of the goalkeeper. Nicely laid up for me. So,
what do you guys need to improve on in the second half?
I think we need to keep it for longer periods of time. We're getting some good stuff. A little bit rushed. I would like to see us keep it around the edge of the box, and I think we can do that. They drop back a lot, so I think that space kind of just outside the 18 is open for us.
All right, thank you very much.
Soccer footwear, apparel, and equipment.
Kate, Megan, thank you. We've got a lot coming up at halftime. Keep it here on the NBC Sports Network, including a special announcement from U.S. Soccer. In Boca Raton, the United States leading China 2-1 at the half. Welcome back to today's international friendly between the United States and China, presented by Panasonic ToughPad. The second half underway tonight at Boca Raton, Florida Atlantic University Stadium. The United States leading China by the score of 2-1. 3 substitutions come on to start the second half for the United States. Becky Sauerbrunn for Amy Lepelbet. Tobin Heath comes on to replace Heather O'Reilly. And Lauren Cheney comes in for Alex Morgan, whose night is done. And China still with the same 11 on the field. Kate Margraf, that probably reflects how the coach liked the way they finished in the first half.
And this is also his core group that started in Detroit.
Long-range shot. Hope Solo has it on a bounce.
This is their third matchup. The first matchup, that was their starting lineup. It's the same here for this third one. This is his preferred 11, and he's trying to get 90 minutes out of them, get them 90 minutes of experience against the best team in the world, because that'll pay dividends, that added experience, as they go towards World Cup qualifying.
The goal by Han Pong late, giving China life in this finale of the Fan Tribute Tour. There is Hong Wei. His team outplayed badly just a few nights ago in Houston, but a much stronger performance on almost every level, and especially ball possession, which they had more of clearly tonight than they had in either of the first 2 games in Detroit or Houston. Lauren Cheney with her first touch for the United States. Shannon Box remains in the game as the other central midfielder for the U.S. The 3-time World Cup veteran on the ball now, but defended away by China. And the right back Wu stepping up, quickly played in. Kelly O'Hara. Megan Rapinoe receiving love in the corner. What a spectacular strike for the United States on the 2-0 goal in the first half. This is loose in the box and now cleared away. Given away to the foot of Li Ying, the teenage striker for China. Well played by Sauerbrunn for the United States. Lloyd spreads this out wide. Tobin Heath now operating on the right flank, vacated by O'Reilly. Lloyd quickly flicked ahead. Cheney looking to link up with Abby Wambach. United States continues to push forward.
Well, this will be a different half because Lauren Cheney's tendency is to come back towards the ball. She likes to kind of play as a withdrawn forward and then set play. It'll take some time in transitioning to get used to how to play together with Wambach, because you don't have that blistering speed that Alex Morgan provides up top now.
Cheney, nice play to turn, spread into the box, and just firing wide is the obvious target. Abby Wambach nearly with her second of the night.
Well, their partnership's getting easier. Tobin Heath putting a bending ball in towards Abby Wambach. Abby Wambach a little bit underneath that ball, didn't quite read the flight well enough, and bending backwards and skims off the top of her head because the ball's a little too high. Just a misjudgment on Wambach and a missed chance to start the second half strong for the United States team.
Abby Wambach said she has canceled all personal appearances for January. She simply needs the break to get ready for the next camp. And that first impression under the head coach, Tom Sermanni, who comes aboard in just a few weeks. What a year, 26 goals and 8 assists for one of the U.S. top strikers. Flicked ahead, and this time harmlessly into the hands of Wang Fei. Stepping up is O'Hara for the United States. Deflects off Wu. Quick throw in for the U.S. Lee for China. Good turn by Cheney. Heath for Rapinoe, but broken up. Ren Guixin battling for this for China, but come away with possession in the game's 50th minute, 2-1. United States started the year with 5 consecutive shutouts. That was the goal tonight, to finish with a 5th consecutive clean sheet. And the Chinese late in the first half spoil that. Can they get a result tonight on the road? Off the United States. Rather deflected away off China. And the U.S. will have it. O'Hara quickly played in. Wambach leaves for Rapinoe. Kelly O'Hara plays it across. Drop down. One-time shot. Off the foot of Carly Lloyd, goes into the 5th row. The one-time Rutgers University star. Part of 2 World Cups for the United States in 2007, 2011. And Kate, for all of the wonderful things that this United States team accomplished in 2012, they're also very aware of the obvious shortcoming and that ability to bridge that gap that exists between the Olympic Games and the World Cup. What do they need to do specifically in the next year, year and a half to prepare for Canada 2015?
No team has won an Olympics and then gone on to win a World Cup, and part of that is because of player turnover and aging. You know, players that were 28 are now 31 and 32. That brings down the level of play sometimes. Also, they just need to get a bit more technical. The gap between the technical teams in the United States is rather large, and it's very apparent when you play against Japan. The United States is excellent in every other area. But that's something that Tom Sermanni knows. He wants to play more positive possession, and that's something that this team will work on.
Wambach tries to drop that back. It does get to Shannon Box. Twisting, turning between Chinese defenders. And still controlled by the U.S. Kelly O'Hara, number 5, and Rapinoe leading the wrong way. It'll be possession for China. Ren Guixin battling, knocked down, controlled by Rachel Bueller for the United States. Hope Solo for the U.S. 102 wins in her 13-year career. Only Brianna Sturry has won more for the U.S. women. Rapinoe, near side. Cheney keeps this alive. Now on the attack. Lauren Cheney plays it across and defended away. I believe it was Huang Yi-Ni who got it out of harm's way. U.S. trying to keep this alive. Rapinoe. Zhang Rui trying to spring it loose for China. Well played by Han Peng. She's the goal scorer tonight for the visiting side. Heath battling. Foul called. This is against the United States, and China will move forward. Christy Rampone, the guilty party. The United States has not lost a match since March 5th. That was a 1-0 defeat versus Japan at the Algarve Cup in Portugal 3.5 months before the Olympic Games, and that'll be the first major competition for the United States in 2013 once again. Rapinoe on the move for the U.S. in the direction of Cheney, but broken up. Pu Wei now drop back. Flag goes up, and the on-rushing striker, Li Ying, the 19-year-old, thought she was off to the races. And now to the bench for the first time.
Making their first change, People's Republic of China.
Wang San
in the
comes into the match. The 22-year-old forward plays for club team Tianjin. And Ren Guixin comes out of the match. So the change is in the midfield for China. Again, the international friendly teams are allowed up to 6 substitutions. United States has already made 3 to start the half. A 2-1 game. Wambach and Rapinoe with the goals for the United States in the first half. Free kick Rapinoe and the United States as the foul is called against Lee. Megan Rapinoe for the United States fires towards goal. One-time crack, and it didn't miss by much off the foot of Kelly O'Hara. Christy Rampone, a milestone tonight. She surpasses Mia Hamm for second place on the all-time list. It caps only Christine Lilly with 352. Has appeared more times for the U.S. women's national team. A career for Rampone that began back in 1997. And again, the only active member of the team that defeated China in World Cup 1999.
And she's arguably probably the best athlete that has ever played for the United States. She is still the fastest player on this team, but for a long time she was the fastest, the strongest, and the most agile in all the testing. And on top of her physical ability, it was her 1v1 defending in 2004 and 2007 when the United States played more of a man-marking system. She always had to mark the toughest, most dangerous forward, and many times, everyone knows about Marta, that's who had to mark her. And so now she's more of a central player, taking on more of a leadership role, organizing the team. But this is a player that'll go down as one of the greats right alongside Joy Fawcett.
And the only mom on the current U.S. team. Cheney plays this on a bounce. Wang Fei is there. Abby Wambach was lurking in a very dangerous area for the U.S. China is hanging in this final appearance of the year on U.S. soil. 7-2 shot disparity for the United States. That is a vast improvement of what we saw Wednesday night. Ball came out. United States will have it. Pu Wei in the midfield. Li Ying near side for China. They'll move forward as it's off Megan Rapinoe.
As I'm standing next to the Chinese team and their entire bench, the one thing that is surprising to me is how much bigger they are. As this team has aged from '99, that was a lot of small players. And when I played, I'm about 5'7". I won't give my weight, but I was about the same size. And nowadays, a lot of these players are taller than I am. So China is trying to get a little bit more physicality on a team, look for stronger players. And then the one thing that they're missing is that change maker, that goal scorer, the one that comes up big game in and game out. But that'll come with experience and competition and pressure to see who rises to the top.
Goalkeeping was a strength of theirs in 1999, as you recall, Kate, and they've added size there in the last line of defense, this team as well.
When they usually recruit basketball players and volleyball players that can't quite cut at the national level, they say, hey, come on over here, why don't you try goalkeeping? And this goalkeeper for China is actually Wang Fei, a volleyball player.
Her team trailing by 1 in this second half at Boca Raton. Li Ying battling in the midfield. Shannon Box for the United States. It comes to Wu Haiye. Under pressure from Wambach, and China just gets rid of it, taking no chances. Rapinoe threw in much more in the attacking area than the officials will likely allow, and probably acknowledging it with the smile. U.S. has it nearly 2/3 of the way through. Final game. of the Fan Tribute Tour. Rachel Bueller for the U.S. Rapinoe knocked it down with a good first touch, but taken away by China. Little flick by Wu. The flag went up on the near side.
This is becoming a tendency. China has been offsides, but what's happening is Kelly O'Hara is being so aggressive and going forward. The United States is in a three-back. When you're in a three-back, your center backs, Rachel Bueller and Chrissy Rampone, are not supposed to step with the forward that's checking back for the ball. They're supposed to stay. That's twice now Rachel Bueller has gone up and left these gaps. Now, the Chinese players have not been sophisticated enough to realize where Chrissy Rampone is, and Rampone, with all her experience, is pulling him offsides by stepping up.
Little flick on the opposite side by Wambach. Thought she might have Lauren Cheney on a run, but taken away by China. Shannon Box in the midfield, plays it back. Rampone, it's only a 2-1 lead for the United States. Looking for this perfect finish to 2012, a year that's seen them lose only once and draw 3 times. O'Hara making a run left side. That's too far for the Georgia native. It'll come back the other way. 1 of 3 to play every minute of the London Olympic Games, Kelly O'Hara. Rapinoe on this for the United States. Stripped away by Li Ying. Rampone, very aggressive defending on number 13, Wang Sansan. Safely guided away. That was Lauren Cheney trying to make the run for the United States. Well, she said the team was defined this year by the semifinal win versus Canada, Kate, as Christine Sinclair was having the game of her life, Lauren Cheney said. What she recalls about the year and really defines the personality very simply was she recalls no player hanging their head at any time in that game. And a takeaway here by the United States, albeit briefly by Carly Lloyd. And she talked about a belief factor that if you don't possess, you can't play for the U.S. team. That was her way of summing up what 2012 was all about.
Well, there was this collective confidence that this team had in 2012 that was really built on the defeat in 2011. They stuck together as a team, and they knew that they had to rely on each other in order to win. Yes, those are all cliches, but this is the team that actually did it. And that's part of the reason why they were so successful, along with incredible years of Wambach and Morgan. So Lauren Cheney will be a key player in the future. Now she just needs to find a position. The next head coach needs to figure out they want her players a forward, as an outside mid. And as she told us, is she just wants a position so she can work on her weaknesses within that. If it's outside mid, how to defend. If it's, attacking center mid, her positioning. So this is a player that has a lot of room to grow and acknowledges it and relishes it.
Activity on the U.S. sideline, too. Sydney Leroux is getting ready to come into the match in the 63rd minute. Jill Ellis won't employ it just yet. Let's watch Kelly O'Hara. Lays it off. Rapinoe floats it into the box, and it's in the back of goal. Abby Wambach with her second of the match. 3-1 United States. One step closer to the Mia Hamm mark.
Megan Rapinoe taking a touch. That's where her space was, and floats the ball in. Abby Wambach, her ability to find the ball. She does not care what the other defenders are. That does not throw her off the path. And then she gets and turns her body to head it in the corner. You have to be able to judge the ball. You have to get power on it. And then you have to redirect it with accuracy. She does all 3 with a little aid from the post in that goal.
152 goals in a remarkable career. 27 this year for Abby Wambach. And immediately after the goal, substitution employed by the United States. It's Megan Rapinoe who came out, and Sydney Leroux steps on for the U.S.
Making their 4th change, USA substitution in the 64th minute.
Carly Lloyd for the United States gets it back. Opportunity here as it's laid off. Wambach quickly on it in the 18-yard box. Lee and Wang Yini over to defend. The star of the show so far, that's Abby Wambach tonight. Little give and go and a quick shot. And the stop made by Wang Fei. Off the foot of Carly Lloyd. United States, by and large, a goal-scoring machine, averaging better than 3.5 goals per game in the past year. That number's skewed by a couple of very decisive games in the early stages of Olympic qualifying, 13-0 and 14-0 wins in the very early stages, but the attack has been there consistently. And Tom Sermanni alluded to that. It's just the makeup of this team. It is attack-minded from start to finish.
That's how Pia built this team in 2012 at the sake of the defense. They gave up a lot more goals this year because they had such an attacking presence. They just sent numbers forward, numbers forward, which exposed this back line quite a bit. And sometimes this team had to outscore opponents in order to progress through the Olympic rounds, in that case particular. But that's something he wants to shore up a little bit and be a little bit more balanced on the attack and on the defense, so not one side suffers as much.
China now trying to pull one back. Wang Chen tries to float this to the top of the 18 and does. Pu Wei, one-time crack that sails over the crossbar. China goes to the bench for just the second time in the match. Number 21 is Wang Liza, the 21-year-old midfielder, and she comes on to replace the teenage striker Li Ying. Second sub of the match for China. United States up 3-1. The brace for Abby Wambach tonight. Megan Rapinoe has checked out of the match. She has the other goal. On the move for China, Wang Sang-san. This will be possession for the United States. The ball came out. Rachel Buehler slow to her feet for the U.S. Well, Sydney Leroux has come into the game, Kate. Sometimes the word super sub is overused in many sports. For Leroux, just the perfect moniker of what she's meant to this team this season. 13 goals, and all of them off the bench. She has not started yet for the United States national team.
Well, she's a ball of energy, and her speed is what sets her apart. She just wants to get goals, as every forward does, but she can because she's so fast. And they brought her in because they decided to move Lauren Cheney back and to have Wambach play with a speedy strike partner.
Wu played ahead. Pu Wei, the holding midfielder, into the attack a little bit more now. This is headed into space. A chance for China, and just missing on the firing try. Number 25, Zhang Rui, had Hope Solo at her mercy.
Well, Pu Wei has moved up on the field so she can be more dangerous. A quick-headed ball. The Chinese player is not even marked at all, Zhang Rui. Here you can see a little change of field, a change back, and Zhang Rui gets underneath it, and it sails over the bar. You have to make Hope Solo make a save when you get a wide-open opportunity.
She didn't know how much time she had, Kate, did she?
Yeah, we'll just blame it on you.
Taken here by China once again. Another opportunity. Played across, quick shot. And blocked away by Kelly O'Hara. Potentially a big play for the United States right there. That's Wang Liza, number 21, who just checked into the match. Throw in for China in the game's 69th minute, trailing by 2. Into the attacking area now with some frequency, the Chinese national team, but cleared away. Wu up to challenge for that. So too is Lauren Cheney. Wang Doni out of the back. The savvy veteran Pu Wei, the longtime captain of China. Number 11 on the ball here.
The interesting story about Pu Wei is she was in retirement for 3 years, and then Hao Wei becomes the coach and asks her back. And as I'm standing on the field, you hear her organizing and talking to her players, telling them where to go, basically positioning them like chess pieces all over the field. And now she's trying to make her mark, get on the ball more, and make a difference for this Chinese team.
Means so much. Again, 16 of the players on this team under the age of 25. O'Hara near side, but comes out, and China will take this with roughly 20 minutes to go in the U.S. women's national team's highly successful year. U.S. Soccer on the NBC Sports Network is brought to you by Panasonic ToughPad tablet, Fearless, and by Century 21. Century 21, the official real estate company of the U.S. national teams. And the work of Sydney Leroux leading to the free kick for the U.S. Played collegiately at UCLA. Canadian-born Sydney Leroux, but chose the U.S. Cheney fires this in and quickly cleared away to the foot of Pu Wei. Impressive run here by the goal scorer, Han Peng. Wang Chen plays this across. Wang Liza for China. Zhang Rui. Flag goes up on the far side. But we're seeing more consistency in the China attack than we've seen in a long time in the past week.
Well, they're getting more confidence. They now maybe not as intimidated by the United States, and they're starting to try to implement their game plan, which is to hold the ball and possess their way out of pressure. And part of that is I just heard Jill Ellis tell Rachel Bueller that her and Chrissy Rampone need to stay closer together. The fact that they're getting so stretched is the reason why China's also having some success going forward.
Leroux battling for this. Leroux trying to beat Chinese defenders. Tries to get the cross away. The goal kick will be awarded here, but a little glimpse of what Leroux is all about. She can beat you one-on-one.
Well, Sydney Leroux likes to take those longer touches because she can usually outrun players. And she's fearless. She will put her body onto anything to try to give a better chance to her team.
She is teammates with perhaps the two best strikers in the world, Abby Wambach and Alex Morgan. On any other team, you would figure Leroux would be an obvious starter. It's important to note that her scoring rate per minute is higher than that of both Wambach and Morgan, the two players nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Lauren Cheney takes this, fires, deflected. Wang Fei is able to make the stop. And shaken up a bit is the Chinese goalkeeper.
Well, Cheney gets the ball off a change of point with some time and space, and the shot would have been an easy save, but a deflection made it a little bit more difficult for Wang Fei, but a good reaction save and quick off her line to bounce onto it. But Sydney Leroux making excellent habits of getting on that ball, trying to get the rebound.
Tobin Heath. It was Wambach who let it go for Leroux. This is still kept alive by the U.S. And now given away, Carly Lloyd. Ball came out on the far side. United States will have it in this 74th minute. And going to the bench again is Jill Ellis. She'll employ two substitutions here. Heather Mitts will come on for the captain, Christy Rampone.
Making their fifth change, USA substitution.
The 30-year-old, formerly a fixture at right back. 34, Heather Mitts. Three-time Olympic gold medalist comes on to replace Rampone. And Amy Rodriguez comes on to replace the woman of the match so far. Abby Wambach's night is done, but not before making a big dent. What a night, what a year. 2 goals for Wambach, 152 in 2012 will be her final tally.
Number 8, Amy Rodriguez. Leading the game with 2 goals tonight. For her first team, Abby Wambach.
Well, the duo of Wambach and Alex Morgan make their presence felt with the 2 goals tonight. They equal the best performance by a duo in U.S. women's national team history. Michelle Akers and Karen Jennings also combined for 55 goals in 1991. What a year for each. Still time for China to make something of this final game, but this is Cheney in the midfield for the United States. Heather Mitts, first touch. Bueller out of the back. Dropped into space for Wang Liza. Foul called against the U.S. as Lepelbet was the player who stepped up on the near side. Jill Ellis has shuffled her back 4. Heather Mitts is the right back, and that moves the versatile O'Hara into a central defending role for the rest of this match.
Steve, actually, they usually like to put Sauerbrunn in that center role, and that's where she is right now in place of Rampone. She is more verbal than Rachel Bueller, so look to her to be the one organizing. You can see her out there already gesturing, step up, step up. She's just a savvy player, and a player many believe should get more playing time because she's smart, she reads the game well, and she's so good on the ball.
You are right, Kate. There is O'Hara, floats back out to the left side, and now Hope Solo is there. 3-1 United States. Cheney for the U.S. O'Hara gives this away. Pong looks to beat Sauerbrunn, now puts the brakes on and drops this back. Top of the box. Played to the foot of Wang San, but now deflected away. Taken away by the United States, and now the quick counterattack. We'll watch Cheney. Leroux picks this up. Talked about the proficiency of Leroux. 1 goal averaging every 38 minutes this season for the U.S. team. Just an incredible strike rate for the up-and-comer on the U.S. side. All those appearances off the bench.
Including one of those appearances coming in as a right back. That is one spot they did try her at this year.
Gets around, pulled away. The fresh legs of Leroux lays this off. Tobin Heath. Leroux for O'Hara. Shannon Box floats this out wide. Patient build-up here by the United States. Hu Wei heads it away, now laid off by Cheney. Quick shot, there was Shannon Box looking straight at goal, but she fired wide.
Shannon's Box change of pace was allowed this chance to happen. The ball bounces out. Lauren Cheney sees Shannon Box, who is not the fastest player, but that 5-10 yards variation of speed bought her an opening, and she has a go at it a one-time. She can connect with the ball. That isn't a person that should not be taking one-time shots like some central defenders like myself would have done, then roof it over. She can connect and hit that on net. And that's just great movement coming from someone deep in a deep lying position.
Would have put it away with roughly 12 minutes to go. China continuing to trail by 2 as we look at Zhang Rui, the 23-year-old. United States has emptied the bench. The only player remaining is the backup goalkeeper, Nicole Barnhart. Good defensive play by Wang Doni. Back for Wang Fei. 80th minute in the season finale for the United States. The calendar year 2012. And on the verge of making it 28 wins in 32 tries, including all 6 at the Olympic Games in London. Sauerbrunn floated this across. It goes all the way to Wang Fei, and there is Leroux working for the United States. What will be the combination of strikers for the United States in 2013? Will it remain Morgan and Wambach, the duo, for the foreseeable future, or will it change sooner than most people think, Kate?
I think you're going to see lots of strike partners, but that's assuming that you're going to have 2 front runners. Tom Sermanni is very comfortable coaching different formations, including having 3 forwards or just 1. So it really just depends on the formation that Tom Sermanni tries to use.
For China, Wang Sansan gets this across. Hu Wei, and defended away by the United States to the foot of Tobin Heath. She earned her 2nd Olympic gold in London. Hope free by Shannon Box, but it comes back for the Chinese back line. Wang Yini gets this back from Lee. After tonight, United States will not be in competition again until the 9th of February at Jacksonville, Florida, taking on Tom Sermanni's native Scotland. Wu getting into the attack for China. Up from the right back position, and the visiting side moves forward here at Boca Raton, where it's getting late. There is Sermanni. He says he'll live in Los Angeles. Says there's a good chance he'll make the Home Depot Center in Carson the home base for the U.S. women's national team. That's still to be determined. A number of factors go into that. Man who led Australia in 3 World Cup cycles, twice getting them to the quarterfinals in 2007 and 2011, will take the reins of the #1 team in the world.
I'm so excited for a new coach for this team, because there are some players like an Amy Rodriguez who had a stellar year in 2010, and then you don't hear her name as much, and this is a player with lots of potential, and there are numerous players like that who might have a reemergence, as well as those players that have never been on this team. And I'm just excited for everyone on, because this is a coach that is well respected in the international community, because he's excellent at coaching tactics, bringing technique to the game, but more than anything, it's his interpersonal skills and how he deals with the players. He has garnered the respect of every single player that has ever gotten the opportunity to play for him.
And Kate, he knows this U.S. team very well, because anybody who follows the game knows this team very well. But the learning curve on the vast universe of U.S. soccer, all of the youth teams, that's where Jill Ellis plays a very pivotal role in getting him up to speed on what the vast program is all about, isn't it?
Absolutely. There has to be, from top to bottom, integration, and that has not existed until hopefully now.
Amy Rodriguez plays this into the 18, defended away by China, but kept alive. United States in this 84th minute trying to put the finishing touches on one more victory. Going up for that is Tobin Heath. Goal kick for China. Well, it began between the United States and China. U.S. team managed by Jill Ellis this week, as Tom Sermanni gears up for his debut in February. Ford Field, December 8th. Carly Lloyd finding the back of the net. This was indoors. Sydney Leroux scored as well, and the United States won it 2-0. And then, Kate, just a few nights ago in Houston, there was Abby Wambach making her presence felt again.
Which is complete domination, which I have never seen the United States do over China. Part of that wasn't China's strongest roster. And Abby Wambach is having a great end of this victory tour, this fan celebration tour. Part of it is the light is at the end of the tunnel. They know a break is coming. They've been going for 2 straight years. And Tom Sermanni's in the stands watching, which adds a little bit of extra motivations to everyone's incentive to put on their very best performance.
A couple of the players, including Hope Solo, just revealed they know very little about Tom Sermanni, and they feel that's a good thing.
I think there's individual difference there. Hope Solo said she didn't want to know anything about him, and she's been very impressed by the manner in which he has presented himself to this team. He has come on, has let Jill Ellis, Dawn Scott, the fitness coach, Paul Rogers, the goalkeeper coach, all these pieces that were so instrumental to this U.S. team being successful, stay in the lead, and he just sits back and watch. He's going to take over in February, and that's when, as she said, when he's under pressure, they'll get to see what he's truly like and see how good of a coach he is, in her words.
He's soft-spoken, likable when you meet him in person. It's interesting to see what his persona will be when real competition begins. There's a substitution here for China, and coming on is number 7, Bi Yan, the 2004 and 2008 Olympian.
Leading the game, number 21, Wang Lizhu. Replaced by number 7,
Wang Liza checks out of the match, and China looking to draw closer. The fresh legs of Bi Yan into the attack. Sauerbrunn and Solo under pressure for the United States, as Heather Mitz clears this away. Throw in here for China. Shannon Box has gone the distance tonight in the U.S. midfield. Pu Wei plays this back. Wu Haiye for China. B lays this off. And Pu Wei's pass just off the mark. Olympic qualifying for the United States is still a year and a half away. Carly Lloyd in the midfield. Out wide. Heath on the right flank. Plays this into space. Played across LaRue! Sydney LaRue to make it 4-1 U.S.
They said this game was to entertain the fans, and they are doing exactly that tonight. Look at Sydney LaRue's run. Comes inside her defender. Defender cannot even challenge her for the ball, and just with pure power attacks it. But she does a good job of keeping her head, her chin down. Her head makes good contact and snaps at the end to keep it low and place it accurately in the corner. The goalie had no chance. But what excellent service, putting it at the top of the 6. Driven, bent ball so the goalie can't come out for it. The goalie stuck on her line, and Sydney LaRue being proactive with her movement, taking the entire Chinese defense out of it.
And she has smashed that record for goals by a sub in one season. 14th now. Adds to the record that she already had. The previous high was 9 by Debbie Keller back in 1998. 26 appearances prior to tonight for LaRue. Now 27, all of them off the bench, and she's been a factor in so many. And one of the players to watch as this team moves forward in 2013. Unless there's more, the cherry on the United States Sunday tonight as the flag goes up on China. We're winding down, Kate Margraf. What a year for the U.S. soccer program. Their 4th Olympic gold medal. Looking back, what's the memory for you that you know will always be a big part of what 2012 was all about for this team? We'll get back to Kate in a moment as Hope Solo plays this into the Chinese area. Kate, you're back, aren't you?
I am back. What did I miss?
The most special moment of 2012 for you.
I think seeing this team come together and to overcome and persevere every time they went down in games, whether it was the first game in the Olympics, but more importantly, that game against Canada. They went down again. Christine Sinclair had the game of her life leading her team, and numerous players, Megan Rapinoe, Alex Morgan, stepped up and beat Canada to go into the semis. That has to go down as the greatest game, besides the 99 game, but in my opinion, the most exciting game ever played in women's soccer.
Game that had everything. Goal scoring, yes, controversy, so much drama. Played across, Wong Fei with the big stop to deny the U.S. a 5th goal tonight. Amy Rodriguez tried to bury it in a hard collision on the far side in the 90th minute of the match. It's 4-1. You can count 2 or 3 spectacular saves by Wong Fei tonight. Second yellow card of the match for China.
Well, the 50-50 ball, and the Chinese defender goes in hard at Heather Mixmore. The angle that was a problem with that challenge.
Free kick U.S. loose at the top of the 18.
The referee has handed 1 minute of stoppage time.
Beyond battles for this. Only 1 minute of stoppage time. About 30 seconds remaining. Maybe a last gasp here for China. And the quick shot sails wide of Hope Solo's goal, and that will about do it. Off the foot of Wang Sansan. United States moments away from their 28th victory. They'll complete the fan tribute tour in undefeated fashion. It'll be 8 wins and 2 draws in the final 10 games of 2012. And at Boca Raton, the final whistle blows. The U.S. wins 4-1.
Tonight's final score, USA.
Jill Ellis coached down the stretch for the U.S. team. After Pia Sundhaga's resignation, Hope Solo with her 26th victory of the year. That adds to the record she had already set just a few nights ago. And the next mission for the United States, a friendly versus Scotland coming up in February. The Algarve Cup in early March in Portugal will be the first major competition under the direction of Sermani. Abby Wambach made her final statement tonight. A remarkable 2012, 2 more goals, finishing with 27 on the season. Megan Rapinoe scoring from distance to make it 2-0, and the United States victorious tonight by the final count of 4-1. Players tomorrow will go their separate ways. Alex Morgan was held off the score sheet tonight, but a factor all throughout one of the most successful years of U.S. soccer. Her strike partner at the start of the match, Abby Wambach, is downstairs with Kate Margraf. Kate?
Well, Abby, you had 2 goals tonight. Which of the 2 goals was more difficult for you to get your head on?
I think probably the second one. Alex and I were kind of going for tying the record that Michelle and Karen Gaberis set many years ago. So that was for Alex and, you know, all the people in Newtown, Connecticut. Today was the kind of day we wanted to play for other people. Perspective happened yesterday, and all of our love and thoughts and prayers are sent to Connecticut.
Well, absolutely a tragic event. Moving forward, you are so close to Mia's record. Honestly, how much do you even think about it?
I mean, I don't think about it in, right now I get a break, so I'm not going to think about it for 6 straight weeks. It's going to be awesome. But, you know, the fact that Mia set the bar so high is really cool, because it gives me continual challenge every single day. And Alex, man, she's going to blow that record out of the water whenever I retire. So, you know, it's going to be a short-lived record if I ever get there.
Real quick, what are some last parts of your game that you want to work on? Because there isn't much you need to improve on.
Yeah, I think right now I just got to get healthy. I got to get healthy and refocus my attention on my fitness over the next 6 weeks. Take some time off. All of us have had a long year. Take some time, get back from the swing of things, and hopefully come back 2013 stronger.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Kate.
Abby Wambach with 2 of the final 4 goals of the United States season. Sydney Leroux had the last at Boca Raton. We're back with a wrap on the NBC Sports Network in just a moment.
Welcome to U.S. Soccer Extra Time on the NBC Sports Network.
The fan tribute tour ends with the women's national team giving the people what they want, a 4-1 win over China, and hugs all around, including some famous alumni.
I might have heard of Christine Lilly.
Yeah, not bad. USA, a 4-1 winner over China here at Boca Raton, and here's a look at your match highlights. And USA got on the board starting early in the 18th minute, and Abby Wambach with what else? Her head.
Well, it's the strike partnership. It's the ball movement. They're just not pumping it into the box, but Alex Morgan makes it a half chance, and Abby Wambach finds it with her head, always at the right place at the right time.
Those two doing work for USA, and Megan Rapinoe, a little bit fortuitous, but how about some skill from distance?
Well, actually, in order to convert more of your chances, you have to have technique on the ball. She displays that. That is not an easy shot. But here, Alex Morgan deserved a penalty kick. Gets sandwiched between two Chinese players. The late on-arriving one had no intention of the ball. And now the goal from China. Hong Pong with an excellent cut move, putting it in the side netting. Hope Solo had no chance of that and gives a breath of life to this Chinese team.
Yeah, that was right before the half. It was only 2-1 to start the second half, but Abby Wambach again with the head, but this one, superb.
Well, first of all, what an incredible ball from Megan Rapinoe with an assist on the night. It's bending into Abby, but Abby getting on the inside of her defender and then having the power on the ball with a redirection. It's just world class.
It was like a quarterback dropping it over the linebacker and in front of the safety, and then Sydney Leroux finishes it off.
Well, Heather Mitts, again, serving a driven ball, a ball that cannot be saved by the goalkeeper. And Sydney Leroux getting in front of her defender and putting it in the side netting. I mean, it is clinical on how to finish the ball, finish the chances you have in the air with your head.
Yeah, we got to see a little bit of a celebration of 2012 with Alex Morgan and Abby Wambach hooking up, and a look ahead to 13 as we've been doing all night with Sydney Leroux. So much trouble for everyone coming off the bench with a header for the goal.
Anytime you have that much speed and that much power when you go and attack players, it's just going to be a handful. And right now, how lucky is the United States to have that player sitting on your bench, which you can't wait to get on the field.
All right, and now they get a little bit of time off before they have to get back. How much time do they really get to take off before they have to start training again to get ready for February 1?
Well, they get 3 weeks off, but really, they need to maintain their fitness. They need to stay on time. They need to stay on fitness. They need to stay on time and on track with their workouts, and that'll make it easier when they try to come back and get in shape. There's nothing worse than trying to get back into shape, and they don't want to do that.
28-1-3, USA finishes 2012 with a 4-1 win over China here in Boca Raton. Signatures all around. We're back to wrap it up after this. Back in Boca Raton, Team USA wrapping up 2012 with a 4-1 win. Hope Solo signing for many happy fans. Abby Wambach with 2 goals, Megan Rapinoe with 1, and Sydney Leroux with another as they sign off on 2012. For first-class sports talk and more mischief than any show on the air, tune in to the Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings at 9 Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. So for Steve Cangelosi and Kate Markgraf, I'm Russ Thaler saying so long from Boca Raton, Florida. You've been watching an international friendly between the United States and China, presented by Panasonic ToughPad.